Hey, Dennis Calvert, CEO at BioLargo, Inc. We got a great story. We're going to cover a lot of territory. I'll try to keep it simple. It's a complex story, a lot of moving parts, a lot of science and engineering, solving big problems. That's the company. Our mandate, we make life better. We're focused on high impact stuff. And some of it's extraordinarily long development cycles, lots of R&D. But because we've stayed the course, we're now experiencing the fruit of our investments. And it's right here in front of us. It's a great time. Market cap's around 50 million. We think it should be about 200 million. We're going to make that argument. Way undervalued. That's an argument. Be sure and look us up. It's an innovation engine. And over time, we've developed a portfolio. I'll remind you of the forward-looking statements. Leaning on our Q's and K's for all the risk factors. There's a bunch of risk factors. We talk about them openly, and the job is to overcome the risk factors, and there's a lot of them, especially when you're talking about innovation at the cutting edge. Who are we? Innovators and scientists passionate about doing something worthy. Impact is the deal. Do something that's worth a career, worth investment, worth a change, transformative technology. That's what we do. We argue and we believe that all the things that we're doing have a chance to be number one in their respective markets. It's a pretty bold claim. It needs a defense. We can go through some of that, but we're passionate about that impact, driven by a mission. Focus on best-in-class solutions. If it's not number one, we're not going to do it. Easy to say, really hard to do. In fact, it's 18 years of work. You're going to see a pretty amazing portfolio. Focus on the gap. The gap in the market is the trick. Where's the gap? Fill a need, solve the need, get it adopted, get through the development cycle, find traction, get through regulatory, get some early market adoption, and then make a deal. Find the partners to go global. And that's what we do. In the portfolio, there's a lot going on. We have about 55 people. I got 30-something engineers, 12 PhDs, and rhetorically, we say it all the time, we can do just about anything. Not literally, but rhetorically, yeah. If it's science and engineering, we're your huckleberry, okay? In fact, we're often brought in as evaluators of other people's technology because we're really good at it. We have a core competency that we've leveraged, which we call the innovation engine. If you think about it, I got science, engineering, focused on impact, a business strategy that's capital conserving, find the partner, and so the wheel keeps turning, right? As an innovator, that's what we do. So we've got energy tech, that's battery storage. All of these arguably number one. We have infection control and Clear Medical, finally going to market, 13 years of investment, about 25 million total invested capital, going to market in a really big way. We'll talk about it. Odor and VOC, everybody know the product Poof? You ever heard of Poof? This is Poof. Yeah, you heard that one? Okay. Last year did about 54 million, did about 16, 17 million for us. It's also a really painful story. So we got a little setback. So we'll talk about that. We terminated the license, got a little lawsuit going. That technology will rebound and reposition, so we'll talk briefly about that. Then we have a PFAS solution. Everybody know what PFAS is? Forever chemicals? Heard of those? Okay, they're kind of everywhere. Some people call it a $17 trillion problem. We're the cutting edge of PFAS. We've got early adoption. We're working with the EPA, state and federal, slugfest to get through the market. Now we're finding traction and adoption. In fact, we were published today in Chemical Engineering Magazine. We've got our first installation going live, hopefully in a few weeks, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, I'm not sure. Working with general contractors, but really quite a remarkable technology. So in the portfolio, one of the questions that people often ask, because as a small micro cap company, right, everybody's focused on what? Revenue and earnings. Revenue and earnings. Well, what about R&D? Oh, that doesn't count. Yeah, it does count. We're investing in really quality assets. Medical device is the best example. I'm going to share that story. So each of these, we look out and we say, what could we make this worth? So this is definitely a forward-looking statement, and the hinge in the debate is unmatched technologies, capital conserving, highly qualified people driven by impact. Battery tech is arguably the largest, but they're all kind of big. So on the bull case debate, this is a worthy debate. I'm posing it as a debate, so we don't have to do the whole debate right now, but I gave you the punchline. We think the company should be valued based on recent transactions and mark-to-market valuations, somewhere around 200 million. Give you an example, med device. Med device, we've now spent 13 years. Our invested capital is probably about 5 million. Our outside investors have put in about 20. So total invested capital about 25 million. Last round, Three family offices came in recently at about 1.1 million each on a $95 million valuation. What's the point? We own about half. We own the royalty. And in our portfolio, it justifies the entire business. One asset, one portfolio asset, mark-to-market transactions, real money, qualified investors, poised to go in a significant way for transformation in the market. On the battery tech, we go through our model, and we say, the model says it's worth 1.5 billion. Yeah. We said, we got to de-risk it. We haven't really de-risked it yet. So we're raising money at about 44 million, which we think is a really low valuation, but we're raising only the amount necessary to get through the next channel. PFAS is a big deal. We got about $200 million worth of contracts on our desk. We're not going to get them all. That's pipeline. So figure 10%, maybe 15%, okay? But we're positioned now with adoption, de-risking technology in the marketplace at the highest level possible in the world. Just want to make sure you really get the theme. We're talking about number one, okay? And it's a debate. You got to dig in deep. That's fine. I'm happy to do it. Clear is now set. We've made public announcement. Again, this is public information. We've signed a global partner. The partner came in and said, I love the deal. We'll do it. We're focused on infection control. So that's a product that's used in the surgical suite and used in wound care. It's an antimicrobial product. It's copper iodine complex. It's got FDA clearance. It's got all the data. It's got all the claims. It's got key opinion leaders now doing clinical work around the world. That clinical work will start being published in Q1, which is awesome. We have two strategies. Organic strategy, which is the traditional route through distributors who purchase products from us as a stocking distributor. We sell at wholesale. We make our money on the wholesale margin, right? That means we co-manufacture through contract manufacturing. We work the spread between that cost of production and wholesale, and then it goes to market. That's a very common distribution strategy for med tech because you can't afford to go out and hire 400 reps. That's how you do it, okay? That's one strategy. The other strategy is go with one of the largest brands in the world that holds a dominant market position and make a deal. We've done both. That's the point. We've done both. They're all going to market. We think we're going to get first sales hopefully by the end of the year, so I got about 3 weeks. If not, it'll be first part of Q1, first sales in the organic strategy. And the big partnership, we're probably late Q1, early Q2 to launch. And it's a big deal. We think it's transformative for the market. And just the punchline to that story, there's a lot of technology going on in that. The way it works is it's a wound irrigation cleared under 510K strategy. As a wound irrigation, it's put on and in the body. It's used for antimicrobial support. So imagine in the surgical suite, you're going to do a procedure, and you open up the body. You put our product inside the body. It provides 3-day antimicrobial support, has no sensitivity and no systemic toxicity, broad spectrum efficacy, also data to support activity against biofilm, and the combination of gentleness, residual efficacy, and biofilm make it number one in the world. Don't miss it. We're claiming number one, and now we're going to prove it commercially. That's the mantra. It's a great asset. That idea is actually 20 years old, over 20 years old. It's the origin story behind the company. And it took us about 13 years of direct investment to get through the extraordinary barrier to entry. Most companies fail. It's so hard. It takes so much money. And you're up against every opposition and every barrier you can imagine. We've done it. Now we go to market. We start monetizing the asset. In the portfolio concept, what we can do with that is a whole series of things. We can sell it. We can take it public. We can do dividends. We can make money in a ton of different ways when you have a successful business. And that's what's happening with Clyra Medical. It's a great shining star in the portfolio. As I said before, it's worth the entire company. The battery tech is a great story. I could go so deep on this, I'll wear you out on it, so I'm not going to do that. But it's a liquid sodium. Who knows battery tech? Anybody in the room? Any deep divers in battery tech? Okay, cool. So battery tech's pretty fascinating. And I'm going to try to give you a punchline. If you look at the landscape of battery tech, most of the technologies that have really found traction are from China. China dominates the landscape. Why? Because they subsidize every piece of the supply chain and distribution. Every single piece is subsidized by China. That's a daunting competitor, right? CATL is probably one of the biggest known. See, it has a sodium ion exchange. So our battery has features that distinguish it from all others. Namely, it operates about 200 C. I'll show you this is the cell. This is the next $1 trillion industry. If you haven't studied AI and battery tech, it's estimated to go to 3 trillion in the next 15 years. It is unbelievable. In fact, if you think about energy demand is going to double in 15 years in the domestic US alone because of AI. And battery tech is going to grow 6 to 7x in the same period. So what does that tell you? No single manufacturer can possibly keep up with the demand. If you have a good battery, you get customers. If you have a better battery, you get more. You can sell the batteries before you make them. So lithium has a bunch of issues. Number one is fire, but number two is geopolitical supply chain risk. It's real, highly subsidized, very competitive, and everybody needs a better battery. What's a better battery? A safer battery, sustainable, that's fully recyclable, durable, 20-year lifespan, efficient, 95% round trip efficiency. That means you can go to roughly 100, roughly to 0, approximately 95%. No degradation on the battery tech. No internal degradation, no outgassing, no runaway fire, domestic supply, high-tech manufacturing. There's a gap in the market, it's a big one. So this is a simple explanation. Again, you can get the copy. Got my email, you can email me. But I'm happy to send you the deck, okay? Punchline to this story is really simple. We have a very high energy density battery operating about 200 C at high voltage. 200 C is about a third of what we call distant cousins, hot batteries. They run at 600 to 800 C. We're at 200, but certainly warmer than a lithium battery that needs to stay cool. So what we've done is we've flipped the model upside down. We look at the market and say, you know, hot is good. Hot is desert. Hot is no parasitic load to cool a battery system, okay? It's a great model, especially at 200 C, it's a very manageable heat. Think about a reciprocating engine, right? What do you need reciprocating engines for? To fire natural gas to make energy for data centers. It's the #1 source of energy in the world, okay? That's the current expectation. These things are run 12 and 1500 C. We're only at 200 C. This is nothing. Very manageable heat. So where are we focused? We're talking about large scale batteries. 20-foot trailers full of cells. It's about 1.5 to 1.7 megawatt hours. And a factory in our model can produce about 1.5 gigawatt hours of production. And so what are we doing? We don't sell batteries, we sell factories. We're forming joint ventures around the world to build manufacturing capability so that our financiers and partners can secure up to 81% of the equity of the venture in exchange for putting up the capital. That's the business. Think of a franchise. So if you don't know why you need batteries, I could spend an hour on this little section right here. I'm not going to do it. But bottom line is it arbitrages the load, right? So you buy low, sell high, you balance the grid, you offload renewables, and fundamentally you fill the gap for what's called resiliency. Resiliency is the mantra of the word in the industry. Resilient. Data center. 24/7, 365. 24/7, 365. That's resilient. We do have third-party confirmation. That took us about 2 years. That just occurred late June. It's important to get landscape of time. So here's where we're at in the journey for the battery tech. We're at Series A. We probably invested about $3.5, $4 million. We've gone through piloting. We've gone through scalability. We've done third-party testing. Now we're scaling. That's going to take some real money. So instead of diluting the parent, we raise money into the venture. Just like the medical. What it does is it catapults our ROI. The BioLargo portfolio is about generating ROI. That's why you want to be a stockholder, okay? We think the valuation will climb to about $400 million as we get through the next rung. We've got 4 MOUs for 11 factories. We've also done a couple things. We've got people that want a lot of batteries, so that would be like big data, hyperscalers, data center developers, that world. We've also got another world, energy companies. We've also got another world that wants to do manufacturing, job creation, workforce development, circular economy, local ecosystem development. So who's that? Well, that's governments. That's governments who say, please come to my town and build a factory. I'd like to hire 1,000 people. I'd like to generate $2 billion worth of revenue. We're doing both, right? We're leveraging the asset to create a capitalization event and ultimately a monetizing event without the parent company becoming the bank. That's the business. Who wants to own a factory? Turns out a lot of people want to own a battery factory. So the model's really simple, which is basically we're looking for an equity carry at 19%, 6% royalty. It's really simple. If a factory can do $500 million a year, that's 6% royalty, $30 million a year. Run the number. Free cash flow, $30 million a year. And in that model, the investors are putting up about 170, and NOI is about 80 to 90 million a year. It's a compelling argument. It also qualifies for 45X tax credit, plus incentives for workforce development. So we're leveraging all the workforce asset to create these opportunities as a franchise model with a local investment-centric model that creates wealth, shares the wealth, creates job creation, workforce development, high-tech manufacturing, energy resilience, microgrid development. Microgrid is a self-sustaining energy system. And then you roll them up. Here's the business model. Do 1, do 2, do 6, do 20. How about 50? These are the current locations. We got a whole menu. It's really fascinating. And our job right now, as you can imagine, to help you with the risk profile, we talk about this openly. Our job is to now take those from MOU to firm contracts, including securing the financing necessary to pull this off. So that's where we're at in the development stage, which is why we've raised money only at a $44 million valuation, because that's a big deal. Don't miss the risk of that. But we believe it's achievable, and it's achievable because we got a better tech and we're sharing the wealth with people that need more batteries than any company in the world can manufacture. That's what we're doing. And we can scale globally. I had a big industrial partner come to me, he says, I love the plan. I said, it's a global scale. He said, yes, it is. This is a globally scalable model. You can do it anywhere in the world. This is a domestic supply strategy. You can do it in any country. You can do it in any region. This is a fully recyclable battery. No rare earth elements, no lithium, no cobalt, no nickel. It turns out that in the portfolio, because we've been doing environmental work for so long, we have a whole 1, 2, 3, 4 punch on AI. Water, batteries, recyclability, energy. Turns out PFAS, if you don't know that, forever chemicals are used in the recycling of the water because they need the surfactants to have the even flow. Have you heard of an AI data company talk about PFAS in their water? No, not yet, but you will. It's coming.
What is PFAS?
Forever chemicals, non-stick coatings. This device is now going in. This is the New Jersey installation. We did a press release this morning. Take a quick look. Anyway, this is now largely de-risked. Certainly, there's questions about scale. We're working with the EPA, federal and state, to do third-party validation, which is extraordinarily valuable. So this is underway. This year, I was appointed as an advisor to the Secretary of Commerce on the Environmental Technology Trade Advisory Committee, and named subcommittee chairman of the Enabling Innovative Technology Committee, subcommittee, which means what? Advocate for the cutting edge of environmental innovation, making policy recommendations for the federal government to enable technology to make change all over the world. Big job. It's actually kind of thankless. Got a little work to do, but it's fascinating. I get to sit on the front line and talk about policies that enable this to happen. So the PFAS strategy is one of those assets. It's slower, it's a lower margin asset, it's enduring. It's going to run for years, decades. This is going to run for decades. And we figure we got at least a 5-year head start in the market. If you just think about New Jersey, we actually put this in our press release this morning. New Jersey alone got a $2 billion settlement from the top 4 or 5 polluters in the country. And plus the federal, under the Clean Water Act grants, plus the municipal, plus the settlements. This is an emerging market where money is flowing because regulatory is already done under the Clean Water Act. The rules are set, the laws are in place, and now they're meandering through enforcement. But because of the litigation, adoption is occurring. We're also working with drinking water, but we're also industrial, groundwater, firefighting foam water, industrial wastewater like sewage, all that. Our device works in all those. Okay, real quick on the POOF update. I won't go too deep, and I want to open up for questions. This was an asset that's been extraordinarily successful, and the good news in this, and we're repositioning it now, and so the stock got hit in the last, I don't know, 60, 90 days.
Why did it get hit?
We terminated the license with one of our partners.
I see.
Yeah. So, and of course, the good news is that it generated about 66,000 positive reviews and built a national brand. But unfortunately, we had to take action to protect our intellectual property and our asset, so we got a lawsuit. What we're now doing is repositioning the asset with new partners, which we believe will happen, while we duke it out with our former partner who owes us $4 million. So we got a little battle. O&M. We also have industrial products, and then underneath the portfolios, we got this engineering group. They were engineers at some of the largest engineering firms in the world, for real, and that means that we have a series of senior engineers that have supported massive projects all over the world, which means intellectually, as we deal with major partners and industrial giants, we can intellectually compete at every level. The poof effect is the negative, right? And so now we see a baseline probably in the 4 million range. It had peaked last year at something like 17 million, generated last year about 6 million net cash flow. And now we've got a terminated agreement on that revenue and a repositioning going on. And so we're gonna have to replace it. So that's what we're doing. The good news is our burn rate's pretty low. We save for a rainy day. Last report, we had about 4.6 million in cash, no toxic debt. Leaned a little bit on our resources to shore up our capital base as we took the write down of the poof asset, and we do believe it'll reposition. As an R&D company, when we get extra cash, we put it into assets. So part of my mission, yes, go ahead.
How much are you burning every month?
That's a good question. So let me give you the answer. At the corporate level, it's about $250 a month. At the corporate level. In the subsidiary level, it's not too bad. I mean, look.
For about 16 months, based on the 4.6 million cash you have in the bank, right?
Yeah, at the subsidiary level, we remember that the ventures also bring in their own capital. So if they're not financed, we're financing them. Once they're financed, we're not financing them. So medical is a good example. This last year, we raised $7 million without BioLargo subsidizing the company. And so it's moved forward with a very significant commercial opportunity because
the process of doing a raise presently?
The subsidiaries never sort of stop. They always are funding the parents in and out. And so at the moment, there's not an offering out for public view. But if somebody's interested, they should certainly consider buying in the open market. That'd be great. And talk to the company to see if there's anything available.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, let's go. Let's because I'm gonna run out of time. I hope this is helpful. Any questions? It's a lot. Yes, sir.
Have you thought about going into I'm in the home services industry, specifically HVAC. Have you thought about going into helping that industry because the products that are out there are very subpar and don't do what they say they're actually doing? We probably do about 20% of what they say they're actually doing. So is that something you guys have explored?
Yeah, we do a lot in heat transfer at the industrial scale, sure, which is fascinating. And we're actually doing a lot of work on water recycling for cooling towers. And so very similar kind of issues with scale and with discharge of vapors and all that. So we know it really well. The trick is always the same, which is you got to find a market where there's a gap that's visible and a margin to justify innovation. And so that's part of the question. So many of those markets require what's called incremental innovation, which is extraordinarily risky because you can't recapture your invested capital fast enough.
I'll show you.
With more than 6,000 small and micro-cap companies listed, if you're looking for the next Apple, then ChannelCheck truly is your tree. It's an investor community where you can access independent Wall Street research, advanced market data, balanced news, corporate videos, and podcasts. You can even register to attend in-person Meet the Management Series luncheons, and to be part of the preeminent annual Small and Microcap Investor Conference, NobleCon. And here's the best news. Since ChannelCheck is sponsored by the featured companies, premium membership requires no investment. It's absolutely free. So check it out. Log in today. Find out why ChannelCheck is North America's leading source of research on the companies that just may change the world.